Hello again and welcome. This is Modern American Gangster, and this is news and current events. So, what's been going on since our last video on news and current events? If you haven't been paying attention, about the same stuff that's been going on for the past 6 years. Hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And that's kind of the theme over the last 10 years, even. It's like, hurry up and then wait. We're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and the system just keeps on consuming us and devouring our souls. So, in the real world, the world that I live in, nothing has happened since I don't know when the last thing happened was. If you live in the NPC general public world, it is busier than ever, man. They went to the moon, they came back, the astronaut, they get back from the space mission, which it's if you're believing any aspect of this, maybe these videos are not for you because it is the most staged, scripted, fake NPC card. String the people along with the deceptions and see how many people are buying it. Like all things, the people who bought it the first time buy it over and over and over again. So the older generations, I'm not going to say which generation, but the older generations really love space and the moon, and they all kind of love the same stuff that they were programmed with when they were younger. So they love Israel, they love space, they love science, they trust the vaccines, they still love this MAGA agenda. And, you can just see how if this was a giant psyop, you have to step outside of yourself to really examine these events as being a total deception to just string you along until you die. And they'll keep stringing you along and stringing you along and stringing you along. And when people start to notice too much of this, they start up with that. And that's kind of how all this plays out over and over and over again. So these moon people, the moon astronauts, they go to the moon, they come back, they're re-entering Earth's orbit at 57 bajillion, gajillion miles per hour. And all the NASA decals are perfect, pristine. They haven't burned off. And then the astronauts are on stage and yeah, we went to the moon. And then a week later, they have to retrain themselves how to walk. And I can't. Oh, my spine from the zero gravity is. It's just like, how are people believing this? They're making it so obvious. They're like giving you an out, a way to not proceed with this anymore. They're giving you a way of like, dude, can't you see how fake this is? And they all just don't seem to get, they'll never see it. It doesn't matter how many times you can prove what they're saying is a lie. People just don't, out of spite, out of generational, you know, foolery of the public, but it's like you're not dealing with the same people. I think of how obvious everything is. And you just look around and people just don't get it. They don't want to see it. They're happy with the bare minimum of life and culture and knowledge and, whatever the cutoff point is for the absolute stupidest human beings of all time. They want to come in right above that. And that's where they want to stay. And they're never going to want more, you know. So it's just a big deception, and now they're going to build a moon base, and it's just so fake. NASA gets something like $65 million a day for their budget, and they've been getting that since what, the 60s or something? What has NASA ever contributed to anyone ever other than their fake CGI stuff? Now that's the justification, is they're discovering new planets all the time. It's all fake. CGI, AI, green screen, and they just steal your money. So we're at the point in government or everything where the only things that are being funded are the waste, money laundering, and things like that. Now, you could get into this a little bit further and understand that after World War II, this Operation Paperclip starts. And that's when you see the beginning of the end of all things. And that's when the New World Order really starts stepping out into the mainstream. So, actual reports say that Hitler and these Nazis and Germany and all this stuff, the people of Germany figured out the deception of the tiny hat people and how it's the same thing as the MAGA hat. Behind the MAGA hats is the minions of this new world order, and it's all being ran by the tiny hat people, whether they're Zionists or Israelis or Jews in general. It doesn't really matter because whatever the general consensus is doesn't really matter because of the programming they're setting up years in advance. So they know already when people are tired of X, Y, and Z, they've got new deceptions ready to go to just play this out longer and longer until they get their AI grid in. And that's the 0 point of all of this, where if we don't get out of this system, which, I keep thinking, I keep hoping, I hope there is a plan. Hope that this is all to wake people up. Well, we've been saying that for 5, 10 years now, and the people are no more awake than they were 10 years ago. The general people. The younger people who grow up with this are the ones who are immune to this insanity, because everything on the internet used to be a complete opposite of whatever like the TV says. So it would be like, well, the internet says X, Y, and Z, and the TV is A, B, and C, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. Where now the only people who watch TV are the older generations who have so much disposable income they can afford the hundred and something dollar direct TV bill every month, where the younger generations can't even afford food. So TV isn't on the top of their list as a necessity with the internet. But now the internet has been completely taken over by the AI or the algorithms. And the algorithms are not an organic thing. Okay, the algorithms are programmed by the controllers. Who are the controllers? All the people we've been warning you about for the past 10 years. Whether they're the Freemasons, the Jews, the lizard people, all these aliens, and the themes of the Jews, the Freemasons, the aliens, the lizard people, the entities, all this stuff, it just goes in a circle. You try to program it into the minds of the people that what they say and what is really going on are completely two different things. And you have to know that in your head, that there's always something going on behind the scenes, And whatever they tell you is the cover story that wraps it all up and gets to a point where they agree. The general consensus agrees that whatever this is what this is. And then they move on to something else. And this is why there's no arguing with truth. And whenever you are truthful and speak the truth, they want to suppress that opinion so that the general people, the NPC people, never figure it out and become less controlled. Now this can go with everything. This could go with health and nutrition, financing, real estate, economic growth. Everything is layered in deception. And they keep saying the economy's gonna crash and all this stuff, which I think honestly there has to be some reset. Now, the good guys, who, if there are any fucking good guys, which there has to be good guys, because I'm a fucking good guy and I'm not for any of this stuff. Now, whether there's good people in the government is a whole other thing. But one of the things that we know and understand is how all of this stuff that we're uncovering has been very strategically covered up for a number of reasons. Now, whether that's the old world, buildings, the mud floods, the mud fossils, the free power, the technology, all this stuff is things they had in the past that they have very covered up to the point where, there's no truth about anything that has been left. Okay, this is why you have to read through the lines of all these things and use common sense. The same with to outer space and the moon and all this stuff. Any question you ask one of these science people, they're going to give you a mathematical formula. How come this looks so fake? Well, let me get a whiteboard out and draw you a math problem. And it's just that doesn't answer anyone's question. Uh, I'm going to get sidetracked here, but that's the general thing is that the common sense tells you the earth is flat. I see flat. I can investigate the claims that it's flat and have it be proven. Anytime you bring that to a science person, they want to bring out the chalkboard and do math problems and do all this math. So that means you have to educate yourself in the math that they're doing. So then you look into their math, 8 inches per squared mile, or whatever kind of problem it is. You can prove that, well, right here, that's not true, and you've been lying. And then they're going to give you another math problem. And it just goes in a circle because whatever you do to prove your point, they do not acknowledge it. They use a deflection technique to whatever your facts are that you lay out and you say, look, here is a fact that the earth is not curving at 8 inches per squared mile. They will not look at it or acknowledge it. They'll immediately shift to another psyop and they'll tell you about satellites and GPS. And then you go, okay, let's talk about satellites and GPS. Here's all this information. Here's all these balloons. NASA is the biggest consumer of helium in the world. What are they using all this helium for? Oh, no. And then you'll prove this and they shift to something else. And it's like after they've shifted 2 or 3 times, it's just you're dealing with some sonic boomer person or something. And they will never acknowledge any of this. So it's like we've stopped wasting our time trying to disprove anything about these people or any of their deceptions. And they take it as, look, we've won. All the flat earthers are fucking silent today as Artemis II makes it so. It's just like we're not even entertaining you. It's like talking about WWF and saying like, If a giant ripped guy on steroids punches you in the fucking face, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out, or you're gonna get severe brain damage and swelling. And these guys are just punching each other nonstop. And then you'd go, it's a stage thing, okay? And they'll go, yeah, okay. The Undertaker has powers, and when and it's just you're not arguing with an equal. You're arguing with somebody with the perception of a child. And that is the whole point of reality, is we have tailored everything to the perception of children. And the general public people are educated to the level of children. Whatever the government told you to learn, that's all they know, and they don't care about learning anything else. So when you get into government schools and the textbooks and everything in the textbooks, it's supposed to be 100% fact. Okay? This is fact. People wrote it down, and that is what happened. And then you find all this contradictory material, and they don't want to acknowledge it. You're a conspiracy person, blah, 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 blah. And that is the game we're in, is the government isn't going to come out and tell you we've lied to you about everything. And all information that you have ever learned is based off of the conception that they created in 1870. Okay, and more after World War II when Operation Paperclip kicks in. Okay, so that's another thing, is they have something about this moon landing, and they show you, look at this, Artemis II takes a picture of Earth. Wow, so look at that marble. It's just a lifeboat in the middle of space, and blah 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 blah. And then the very next words they say was some Mark Twain quote about, you know, a lie can travel around the world while the truth is still tying its shoes. And it's like, why would you ever place a quote about lies after some bullshit about NASA on an official thing? And it's like they're trying to show people, and the people just, I don't know what it is. They've taken all your money away and made it where you can't buy anything, and people just, that's just the way it is. And it's like, no, we got to wake up here, people. The financial system is so corrupted by inflation, by interest, by all these things, that the US dollar is the whole driving force behind all this stuff. And who owns the US dollar? It comes from the Federal Reserve Bank. That is not a federal bank, and they have no reserves. They just print paper fiat money out of nothing. And you start to talk to general public people about this, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They have no clue. So it's just, we go in this circle and nothing ever happens, and then they're going to do that, and then 6 months goes by, and we're still just saying the economy's going to collapse, the bond market's going to collapse, the auto loan industry is going to collapse, the student loan debt is going to collapse, the mortgage is going to, anything that is based on Federal Reserve banking notes is going to collapse. And then the word is that after all is said and done, the banks are collapsing, money isn't worth anything. And then when the system resets, you have to have a new world reserve currency that is backed with gold and silver. So if the banks all collapse, and then the 10 days of darkness goes by, or whatever the fuck they're saying, when it comes back on, they're not going to use your old paper Federal Reserve dollars anymore, because those aren't worth anything. So this is when the new system comes in that is supposedly going to be this XRP. Now, I've been really trying to follow the XRP and the banking stuff, and there's something there because of how it's going to, how you're going to convert your money in real time to any kind of currency you want. But if all of the currency is the same currency, this XRP, and then you can trade in your gold and silver for this XRP in a crypto wallet. and then also buy. I mean, it's like the switch is there, ready to happen. It's just not there yet. And then they say the XRP is going to go to $37,500 per XRP, and then the next day they'll say it's going to be 1,000, and then 30, and then 10, and then it could be 100,000, and it's just like it's so uncertain because of everything is a deception. Now, another big part of that is like the U.S. Federal Reserve dollar is the world reserve currency, petrodollar. They call it the petrodollar because all oil is traded in U.S. dollars because it is the world reserve currency. Now, if this big switch happens and the new world reserve currency is XRP, which the Jews, the Israelis, the Mossad, the Freemason people, the Trump people, everybody, they all want the world reserve currency to be Bitcoin, which is so tainted by child sex trafficking and all this evil shit that are these Jews, these Israelis, or whoever the fuck, they're all behind. And that's why these BRICS nations are not going to have anything to do with Bitcoin. Okay, so if these BRICS nations and all these people with asset-backed currency are going to use the XRP as their token to do trades with, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes to like zero because nobody will want it, nobody trades with it. And the XRP then becomes super valuable. So then you're going to have all of these governments, like the United States government, they're going to have to acquire billions and billions of dollars of XRP in order to conduct trade with these countries. Okay, if that kind of makes sense. That's the way I'm looking at it. Is it doesn't matter if you're trading in a digital currency like an XRP, or if you're doing your trading in paper $100 bills that have been converted to ones and zeros in an account, and you're just moving money on a spreadsheet from this one to this one. But the US dollar isn't really backed by anything, and it's not a scarcity thing because they can just print as much as they want. And that's where you're never going to get ahead in a system that's rigged, where if there's only so many XRP locked out, that's what creates the higher value when it becomes something that everybody is going to have. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. On the other side of that, if all of the money is based on the petrodollar, because the one thing everyone's buying is oil for gas engines and whatever the fuck, plastics and all the stuff that they use oil for. If you come out with free energy, 0 point fusion technology, or whatever it is, you're going to completely bypass the petrol, gas, oil, and gas and shift gears to something else. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to just overnight not need oil and gas anymore. It just means if there's 20 gas stations in your town, it's going to go down to like two because everything is going to work better on this new form of technology. Now, another aspect to that even is if they no longer use petroleum, you're going to open the door for all these technologies, like the ability to run your car. It'll still run off gasoline, but it'll get like 200 miles to the gallon if it was fully efficient, where a modern day internal combustion engine is only like 17% efficient or something. You'll also open the door to like running your vehicle, your engine on water using hydrogen power, which they've done time and time again. It's not that hard to do. It's it uses like electrolysis. So you put like a You have like a round pipe, like 4 inches. And then you put a rod in the center of it and you put a charge to it, and it causes an electrolysis thing which vibrates the water, the hydrogen atoms, and separates them into hydrogen gas, which you can burn in your car. They've known how to do this stuff since the 40s, but it would put the petroleum out. And this all goes to, well, why do they value petroleum? Well, back in the day, the only place to find petroleum was like Texas, but the Middle East was where the majority of the petroleum gets. And this all goes to who runs the Middle East, and it goes back to Jews. And this whole World War II to settle the Middle East and then get their Israel, and then they've got their Israel. Now they're going to have the greater Israel. And then the only Israel will be in charge of all the Middle Eastern countries, and they'll be the ones controlling the production of oil. When in reality, they said there's like more oil in Alaska than like all of the Middle East combined. We're not allowed to get that oil because that would fuck up their New World Order plan. So just like all this stuff, one thing is not allowed to move forward unless the entire old system they created is gone. And we shift gears to this new system. And the new system they will not be able to control as easy. So once you open up free energy technologies and stuff like that, you're going to see all the other technologies really open up. And it'll be like, you know, they're not going to make new cars that run on water. They'll make some kind of a kit you can retrofit your vehicle to make on water. So it's not like everyone's going to go do it. It'll be a very selective few who can do it. The same kind of stuff with, if everyone becomes a millionaire and the building materials are dirt cheap, you're not going to find people to come and build you a deck. Okay, if you're going to have to build your own deck, and all the stuff is going to be cheap, but you're going to have to do it yourself because if everyone's a millionaire, no one's going to want to work. And it's just kind of like a way of restarting civilization, kind of the way it was, where the schooling system, you really only need grade education. Okay, after the 6th grade, today is complete not what I'm talking about. But if you actually learn shit, once you know how to read and write and do basic math and basic stuff through 6th grade, what else are you learning in high school? It's like once you learn the basics, you go to high school and then they unteach you everything and you unlearn everything you learn. And now you have people in college who can't read, they can't write, they can't do math, they can't tell time on an analog clock, they have no idea about anything. And that is where we've gone wrong. After the 6th grade, the high school system should be converted into some kind of a life skill place, like a free college. And the college system should be completely dismantled, and you don't need it anymore because they should be teaching you computers, basic automotive knowledge, shop class, welding, cooking classes, sewing class, all these bonus things that people have taken for granted and forgotten. Those should be taught to people, and that will then determine what they want to do next. So then you could go to a college for more specialized stuff. So you would take like a general class, but if you want to become an electrician, you have to go to a college for that. It's sort of a thing is like what I'm thinking. And this is just like every aspect of reality has to be completely taken apart, rebuilt from scratch, and then started off. And the adults need to be retrained and retaught because, in the next 10 years or 15 years, everyone's going to be out of a job. And, whether you get free income or not, The AI is going to put all these people out of work, which is already happening in college educated people who have a 4-year degree. The AI is taking over all of their jobs, whether you're an x ray tech or whether you're an accountant or whether you sell insurance or whether you sell cars. The AI and the computers is going to do your job so fucking quick and 10 times better. There's not going to be a need for you. And therefore, what are you going to do with people? They have to be retrained to do something else, which is going to move them back to like 1950, 1960, where everyone is going to have a general knowledge of how to do certain things, whether it's carpentry, woodworking, automotive skills, cooking, cleaning, whatever it is. In that way, if you have more skills, there's more doors open for you to do what you want to do and live your life without this overwhelming control grid that we're all in. So that kind of sums up where we're going. And I think sooner or later we're going to get there and they're going to cut all this down. And, who knows what they're going to use as the catalyst for this change. Whether it's the aliens, they keep telling you about aliens and they're interdimensional and, they're demons, really. And they'll tell you they're demons, they're demons, they're demons, they're demonic entities, they're blah, 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 blah. They never give you the opposite end of that. Like, well, if there's demons, are there angels helping people? Is that a real thing? Well, it has to be. So we're at this perception moment where it's either expand your perception and your understanding and let's get to the next level, or you're going to die out. And you're seeing this more and more with the cancer. Cancer is 17 times higher than any point, and blah, blah, blah. And nobody has any idea what's causing all these people to get cancer and die. And then they'll tell you, well, you took this vaccine, didn't you? Yeah, they all took the vaccine and they're all dying. And these people just like, I took the vaccine. I guess I'm dying. Oh, well. And no, like, why isn't there a national outrage about the vaccines? How come we're not demanding hangings in the street from these people who killed us with these vaccines? The people didn't fucking care less. The same with black people committing the fucking crime. A black guy gets 32 arrests and then kills somebody. And it's just like, no need. And this is where, like, it's like, why aren't there? This is why there used to be lynching because of people committing so much crime. How do you stop this? You have to make an example of people. You need public hangings. You need public shaming, maybe whippings in town, not just for anyone who commits the crime. But you're going to find it's only going to be this one group who's always getting whipped and shunned and stuff. And they never, ever learn the lesson. Ever. Showing you, like, what are we doing here? And it's so obvious, common sense answers to these questions. And people act like they have no idea how to fix this. What are you supposed to do about these people? They're just so rambunctious and committing crime. And we know how to fix it. Get out of the fucking way and put us in charge. This will be fixed in 10 years. Okay? Start with the jail. Anyone in jail for 5 years or longer, tell them, we'll let you out today. You have to give up your citizenship. We're going to give you $5,000 and we're going to send you back to Africa. Done. The jails are emptied out. Any career, bang. Now, if you did some minor stuff, you'll be out, whatever. People make mistakes and have bad days. Get it? But you can't have 47 prior arrests and just being a menace to fucking society. You don't learn, you don't listen, you don't care. And it just goes in a complete circle over and over again. And everyone just goes, we have no idea. And the Jewish women judges let these people ride out. The black judge will let them ride out. The Freemason fucking white guy, boomer judge, he'll just let them ride out. And people act like, how can they let this happen? It's designed. It's 100% designed to achieve a greater agenda, which is all these overreaching AI censorships and monitoring and stuff. And then somehow all that is just for the white guy who's questioning Israel. That's what the defense grid's looking for. Not pedophilia, not child rape, not these black people on a train who'll stab you and fucking kill you just because you're white. And then, oh, they're mentally retarded. Can't stand trial. If they're mentally retarded, how are you letting them out of jail? I mean, how are they allowed to drive if they're mentally retarded? They're incapable of knowing right from wrong. Why aren't they treated like that? No, they're equal as they stab you 42 times. It's just like common sense, people. It's not that hard to figure out. It's the same two groups behind everything, black and the Jews. People don't want to hear it. Asian people aren't stabbing people on a train. Yes, I'm sure you can find one Asian person who goes crazy and stabs someone on a train. But as a whole, it's the same two groups behind everything. And when they're caught, it lists them as white, and white people get the bad rap. When usually, it's Jews, it's all this stuff, it's all connected. People don't care. People just seem like common sense. You have to have like a 12-year college degree to be an expert on common sense. And it's just you can look at something, make a snap determination like that. And that's usually how it is. So, I'm trying to touch up, but it's just like, man, it really is. We must have been chosen to be the strongest people ever to come here, incarnate in this realm, and deal with this fucking bullshit all the time. Just such common sense answers, and people just act like, oh, no idea. Here's what they're going to get in, and they're going to, blah. And it's like, you have zero common sense. You can't do anything. And you constantly just see this over and over. Yes, I know. You know what lady who's fucking capable. Not everyone. Not all of them. All right? But as a general consensus, all of them. Same thing with black people. They're nice, fine. They're fine people. That doesn't matter when 8 out of 10 of them are fucking horrible. What are you going to do? Call them out? Call out these black people for being horrible. They'll stab you and kill you. And then they don't get arrested and the cycle just continues. So it's like, I don't know. When the white man was exited from civilization, there went the common sense, and we're in the world we're at now. Because the only white people in government at the top are either Jews, they're Freemasons, Ted Cruz and all these people. They're all Masons, they're all Jewish, they're all Zionists, they're all pro-Israel above everyone else. They're not pro-Italy. If you're an Italian senator, you don't have a fucking super allegiance to Italy. This is where we're at, and people just don't seem to put two and two together and figure this out. It is a fucking agenda. It is a conspiracy. It is a world cabal of evil fucking people who are putting their agendas above yours. And people want to tell you that that's completely insane. No way is there a conspiracy. The government's here to help us. And it just goes in a fucking circle over and over. And what can we do? And then they'll blame you for, well, people need to hold them to account. And like, how? Vote them out? They just steal every election. It's all fucking fake. The only solution is, we know what the final solution is. But are we going to get there? Or are we just going to be killed off? And they want you to think we have no power, we can't do anything about it, while they slowly put in their defense grid and their AI to stop us. But, I mean, the future is very unknown and unknown. I could totally see all this stuff happening because in order for the next stages of their control grid, they have to let all this power out. And they have to have like free energy to run all this AI that garbles up all of this energy and power and technology. And you have to have something there to reinvest in. It's just like It's there, it's coming, it's not yet. And now it's like, I think that if they don't do all this shit by the 4th of July, the 250th birthday anniversary, if nothing happens by then, you need to be looking at 2030 very carefully because that's when they're going to fully blow up the cities, do all this stuff, fully reset the world again. There could be 10 years of blackouts and power outages, and we just are reset back to 1850. And that's when they come out. Now we're going to get everything back going again. And it's just like people are unknowing of the agenda, so they're going to fall right into it. Where if you know the past and you know they've already done this once, when this mud flood happened and the buildings all got shut off and melted and burned and stuff, that's where we're headed again. People don't know anything about what happened in the past, and they do not see how we're headed there again right away. So, another thing, the tariffs. On April 20th, they've announced a tariff reimbursement plan. They have 175 billion trillions of dollars, and they're going to return this back. Now, who's getting this money that they're going to reimburse? Businesses and corporations who had to pay the tariffs. Don't worry about the fact that businesses and corporations already have charged us and made their money back. They haven't taken a loss during these tariffs and stuff. They've passed on to the consumer and we paid for it. Now they're going to bail out these businesses and give them a giant, bailout with the tariffs. It's the same thing as and the people get nothing. They're going to give you some fucking crumbs. $600 check. It's so fucking bullshit that we already paid for it, and now we're going to pay for it again. Because are they going to lower the prices now that they're going to get this tariff refund? No. They're going to get this money from Trump's tariffs. They're going to give bonuses to all their board members and executives, and then the money's going to be gone, and we're still going to be paying the high prices and shrinkflation and all this stuff. And people just, well, this is MAGA. I mean, it's just like, fuck people. This MAGA shit has turned into a total deception. The same shit that happened in World War II with Germany and Hitler and the Nazis. It starts off as, we're going to make Germany great again. We're going to make Germany the best. We're going to have free college. We're going to educate our people. We're going to get everyone ready to go because German people are strong people, blah, 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 blah. And then by the end of World War II, it's all Jews moving in, it's all SS. They kill off the German population with these crewman death camps. And the SS people who were these Zionists, National Zionist, Synagogue of Satan Jew people, they start this new world order and expand throughout our realm, forming NATO, creating Israel, creating NASA, creating the CIA, creating the Mossad, all this stuff after that. Now, right now, we're in that again. We're going to make America great again. America, blah, 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 blah. Now we're going to war with Iran for no reason. It's just like, do you not understand that the whole Joe Biden cabinet was Jews and Israel, and the whole Trump cabinet is Jews and Israel? And, Howard Lutnick and Gary Kushner and all these Jews and their Mark Levine. It's the same shit as World War II. And we're just going through it again. And then in the future, they can paint the MAGA as the Nazis. And it'll just echo again, not knowing that all sides are controlled by the same hidden hand controllers. And this is just, I could talk and explain this to people, and they have no concepts of what you're talking about. They've never heard of any of this stuff. They don't even know who fought in World War II. They don't know who fought in World War I. They don't know anything about the Civil War. They only know what they were told by controllers themselves. And once you've figured out that everything they told you is a lie, it's up to you to fucking educate yourself and get out of this crazy zone of insanity that we're in. So, I don't know. That's about it. I mean, I really tired of doing these videos and talking about all this stuff, and it's just the same thing, and people just don't care. I post this, I get no feedback at all. It's just like nobody sees it. The algorithms hide it. You know, I'm not. I could talk about. I could really fucking come down and get into a depressed fucking state, and it's just like I'm trying to fucking not. So I don't know. All right. Well, that's about it. It's just this all this stresses me out because it's so fucking obvious common sense. And people just they don't care. They don't have common sense. They don't know anything. They'll ask Grok, and Grok will tell them. Grok and all these AIs don't know shit. They're fucking horrible. You know, I was asking it. I'm doing my video on secret societies, and well, what's the difference between North Rite Freemasonry and Scottish Rite Freemasonry? Gives you all this stuff, paragraphs and paragraphs of information. It doesn't tell you anything. And then you ask it, is it like Jewish Freemasonry versus non-Jewish Freemasonry? Oh my God, the Grok is going to tell you, oh, anti-Semitic conspiracies, blah, 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 blah. We don't really anti-Semitic conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, how the fuck do you navigate it? If you want to ask it how to cook popcorn, oh, it'll tell you. You want any real information? Oh, it doesn't. No, it doesn't do anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism tropes, blah 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 blah, and all these are anti-Semitic claims. Blah, blah, blah. Can't that everybody has the same anti-Semitic conspiracies that are just based on nothing and rumors, and every single person says the same thing? How can the majority of people who look into this come up with the same conclusions? And then when you ask it, they don't know. They've never heard that. Any kind of anti-Semitism, they're not going to look at. It's just, come on here. What the fuck, people? I could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to do that. So, I don't know if you guys saw last couple weeks episodes. I'm getting more closer to doing these like once a month. It's just too much work. Nothing's really happening. And, until we're just in this limbo. They keep telling you the aliens are real. The aliens are real. They're going to disclose all this alien stuff. And then, oh no, we're not going to do it. And okay, we're going to release it again. And they get everybody all fucking hyped up and ready to go. And then, it's Artemis II is coming back around. And then they get everyone fucking hyped up again. And then it's just like, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for this fucking final event. Just get it over with. They're not going to arrest anyone. They're not going to arrest any Epstein people because they're all Jewish, and that would look anti-Semitic. They're not going to arrest criminals on the street because that would look racist because they're all black and Latino and Mexican. And it's just like the only buddy who they can ridicule, arrest, or do is the white guy. The white guy, you can fucking say, fuck white people. I think they should all die. Oh, that's fine. If you say, I don't think Israel, oh my God, they're going to ban you. It's just like, how do people not see it? And they don't see it. You talk to any young people and they all buy the conspiracy. You talk to these women and they're having trouble dating and, oh, they don't know what they're going to do. She's 40. She owns her own house and she can cook and she's alone. And, well, she has had 32 sex partners but she can't find a good man who wants to cuddle and treat her right and all. And it's just like, are you people fucking retarded? Are you people fucking retarded? They've sold you a bill of goods, and now you've got it, and you're going to be lone and miserable your entire life. Because nobody wants to compete with you. That's the whole point. I mean, everything. It's just like everything's fucking negative. There's only problems and no solution. Because the solutions will come from the white man. And you don't listen to him. Because you've already spent the last 25 years telling us how much you fucking hate white people, and white people are the problem, and systematic racism, and blah, 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 blah. There's no white man running anything. It's like Jews and Freemason people. No average white guy who used to be a carpenter. He's going to be the city council person. They will never fucking allow it because they're all intertwined with their deceptions. And it's a grift against us, me, all of us together who are people who are targeted. Who is targeted? Those are the people who you should be listening to. Why are you targeted? Well, because you have common sense, and common sense is not allowed in anywhere. Not in society today. It's not allowed. All right. Well, that's about it. I don't know. It's just like, God, it's just, I could say the same things over and over again. What's the point? Nobody hears it. Nobody cares. Everyone just seems like, oh, we don't know. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Your car's making a noise. Maybe we should pull over and check it. No, no, no. Just keep driving it until it fucking physically cannot move any further. And then blame white people. Blame racism. Blame anti Semitism. Blame anything other than your own incompetence for letting the car break down and make noises and stuff. It's just like that's where we're at. Turn the fucking radio up high. That's what women do when your car's making a noise. Just turn the fucking radio up to high until you can't hear it and drive it until it quits. And then go, geez, I have no idea. I don't know what happened. That's where we're at as a civilization. Cars making noise, making a little noise. Now it's making a grinding noise. Now it's making a clanking noise. Just turn the fucking radio up. Turn on some rap music and just drown it out. And then when it breaks, blame everyone but yourself. All right. I don't know. I know it's stressful, and I know if you're watching these videos, you're fucking stressed out and tired of this shit. We gotta keep going. I don't know. It's either submit or fight until they kill you. And that's where I'm at. But being so vocal isn't helping my social life. I don't have a fucking social life. There's no one to talk to. There's no one to communicate with and to air your grievances. And there's no one. Everyone's more divided than ever. Nobody wants to listen to you. Nobody cares. As long as you have a general love of sports or some dumb shit that's all fucking rigged. It's just like it goes in a circle. It's rigged. You shouldn't watch it because it's so rigged. Don't buy jerseys of people. It's rigged. It's not real. Buy a black guy's jersey. Wear that around. That'll make you feel like a man. It's just, come on, people. All right. Well, I'm working on my secret societies video. I keep finding, I go, oh, I'm almost ready. I released the trailer and they did some fuckery with my trailer and like buried it so nobody sees it. So if you're on Rumble, check out my trailer for Secret Societies. I think it's going to be really good documentary. I keep finding more and more information. But it's like, however much information you find, it's the same thing at the end. So whether you're looking into Freemasonry or Scientology or Mormonism, it all leads to the same fucking thing. And there's always a secret. It's lizard people, it's the jinn, it's the demon, there's always something at the top that they can't tell you because it's a secret. And well, is the Jews running things? Well, we can't tell you. It's just a secret. And that's kind of where all these secret societies go. So piling all this information. I've got all this stuff ready to go. It's just, I don't know. The summer's already here, and it's just like time is moving so fast. It seems like 2 or 3 years ago was 6 months ago, and just you can't get a grasp on anything. You can't treasure anything. You can't enjoy anything because there's so many problems. We're all on our back. We've got to deal with it, and we're going to get no credit for it. Stuff I was talking about 5, 10 years ago, people are acting like they just figured this out. They get 100,000 views. And, Candace Owens is going to do a video on the Black Blue and how all this is connected. I already fucking did that. Do I get any credit? Do I get a mention? Do I get a fucking, hey, look what this guy did. He kind of came up with this. It's interesting. Nothing. I fly under the fucking radar. I do all the hard work and the heavy lifting. I get none of the credit, none of the financial benefits, and time keeps ticking on and on and on, and there's nothing. So, I mean, where's that going to go? I don't know. It's very discouraging to see people act like they figured out shit you were trying to tell and get out for the past 5, 10 years. I listened to some of my music I made in like 2010, and every fucking thing in my songs is exactly the same thing that we see today. it's the controllers, it's the lizard people, it's just like over and over again. And I get no credit on that. I get no credit on this. I do all this work. I make these books. I don't sell any copies. I don't have any new Patreon subscribers. And it's just like, yeah, keep it up, man. Keep going. Don't stop, dude. Like, you throw a couple shekels in my cup. No, you're a racist, anti-Semite white guy. We can't support you at all. And they all secretly listen and they agree with what I'm saying, but it's just like it never goes anywhere. And it must be for a plan because they're totally suppressing this, totally shadow banning it. I see it in real time. I'll post stuff on my Instagram, clips of my news and current events, and it's like from alternate accounts, you'll go to like it, and it like double clicks it, where it doesn't get no likes, views don't register, and it's just like I don't know. They're really whatever they're doing is working because I really don't fucking care about doing this anymore. It's just too much stress and too much bullshit. But I do like to do it. I do like to watch these videos myself. I like to, I don't know. I'm just maybe I need to chip gears. And it's just like you can't ever get a break because of the insanity of everything. I mean, nobody fucking cares. I get it. I don't fucking care. I'm to the point where I don't fucking care. If you want to live in the new world order, that's the will of the people. We're going to live in the new world order. The other thing is they should have an option for people who just want to move out into the middle of nowhere and be left the fuck alone. That's the only thing that we can't do. Is a white guy can't just load up, go out into the middle of nowhere, build a house, and be left the fuck alone. They're going to come in and make sure you live in wherever. And that's the other point of if they opened up new land and we could leave, we would leave. But they don't want you to leave. They want to exterminate you and kill you. And that's what people aren't. The last option we have left is we have to defend ourselves because they're going to kill you. You post a meme about Benjamin Netanyahu and they're going to kick you out of college and they're going to arrest you and blah, blah, blah. For like, whoa, don't we have freedom of speech? No, we have no freedom of speech because hate speech has now been above free speech. And anything they say is hateful, you're banned. Doesn't matter if you have freedom of speech. Don't I have the Second Amendment to own firearms? Well, you can't own a firearm if you posted hate speech comment, and you're a danger to society because you're hateful. And it's just like, there goes your rights. Gone. And, we have to fully have an AI censorship grid if we want fair elections. So the AI is going to, and it's just like, are you an anti-Semite? Well, now you can't vote. And this is just, yeah, and the black people will cheer it on. We need to take away the right to vote from white people. And it's just like everything the white people fought for, now you're being punished for, and they're going to take it away from just you. And everyone just goes, yeah, there's no problem with that. And there's no problem with everything. And we just, I'm telling you this now, when the population in 10 years gets to my level, you're going to have a massive you're going to have a problem on your hands. And that's where we're getting to the 2030 agenda. In 2030, people now who are 13, 14, 15, watching these TikTok videos, seeing all this information, they're going to be legal voting age, and you're going to see some massive fucking shit because there's no way you can get ahead in the system the way it's going. That is when radical change happens, where it's not going to be good. That's why I hope they are going to arrest these people and do these arrests, get rid of the debt, get out this technology, because it's going to get very bloody and horrible if nothing happens, and you're just going to ostracize and get rid of one group of people who are the solution. And that's the whole point behind the Jews. The solution is white people, bless Israel, and you will be blessed. Israel is a group of people, not a physical location. Israel in the Bible they're referring to are white people. the descendants of Tartary, the 12 tribes, which really are 10 tribes, because the two tribes form the groups that we don't like. But when the whites are in charge of civilization, everybody is brought up. The rising tide lifts all boats, and that is what they don't want. They want to be in control at the top as a ruling class. Everyone else is poor or they'll kill you. And it's just like you're turning it back into Egypt or something. And it's just the history repeats, and it's just people don't figure it out, and it just goes on and on and on. All right. Well, that's all for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Please check out my content. I'm working on this new documentary. I'm working on all this stuff. I've got good things going. I want to. There's some new On the Phone with Mr. Saccavello calls on Patreon you can listen to. I got a new Behind the Desk segment I'm going to do at some point if I can muster the energy to. And, I could fucking use a drink. So maybe in the next couple days, we can sit behind the desk, have a drink, talk, and just kind of be less formal with all this stuff. And that'll be kind of a fun thing to do. And just this, that, and the other thing. Keep your eyes posted. I got a lot coming. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on X. Follow Mr. Saccavello. Mr. Saccavello recipes coming out. All kinds of stuff coming. It's just, I don't know. We're in a slump waiting for some kind of anything that just never seems to come. So I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for the support, for those who do support. Thank you to all the Patreons. I really appreciate you. It's not life-changing money on Patreon, but it's just enough to know that some people value this the same way they would value a fucking cup of coffee at Starbucks. It's not that much to show your support if you can. I get it. Some people don't have any money, but whatever. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time for sure.
But I warn you, if you make any further inquiries, or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family. Do you understand?
I'm a straight shooting cowboy. You guys know that. And I'm going to tell you what is going on when it happens.